Welcome back to my channel in part 4. Watch the completion of this project. This is the pattern that I'm using to draw the legs, and we're going to be transferring that to this piece of cypress. I'll cut this up into more manageable length, but I've scrolled the side of the barrel to get the cutout that I need for the legs, so I'll be transferring that on. There's a bit of a rough drawing, so the legs I just went with a freehand drawing, and then I cut it out on the bandsaw, my template, so and then I can lay them out. So the first thing we have to do is just plane some lumber. Now what I'm using is a full 2-inch stock cypress, and we just need 2 flat surfaces, so I don't have to worry about jointing the sides. I am just cutting it out on the bandsaw. Makes for quick work of this. I'll just and then I can sand it down from there. All I did was plane the back side so that I had a flat surface. I didn't need both sides planed, and then I'll just run it through the sander once I get it all cut out. The cypress, if you've never used cypress before, it's just a great product for this kind of work. Some people call it yellow cedar, but it's really strong, so it's not really a cedar. But I'm just getting it cut down in size, and then I'll be able to sand them all. I got a bit of a notch there for the metal around, so the barrel will be supported off these legs. So here they are there. I aerostol the edges and sanded them all, and there's my template. I'll save that template because I kind of like the style of these legs, and they worked really good on the barrel. I did a dry fit and they look quite good, so we're going to go with these. Like I said, they're just a freehand drawing. So to install them, as you can see, I've stained them black, jet black. Actually, the stain is called coal black. What I do is just put a piece of timber on top of the barrel and measure it up and put a stick across the top. And what this does is allows me to set all the legs at the same height off of the rim. So I'll just move that piece of timber around, and then I can put a clamp from the piece of wood going across to the leg, and I've put some marks there where the legs are going to go, and I'll just have to adjust that so I can get a screw in. And there we are in the other ones. So what I've done is you can just move this piece of timber around to get all the heights of the legs. It worked out really good. I had very little sanding, just on one foot. It was only off about 1/8 of an inch. And I probably didn't even have to sand it, because these tables will go outside on a patio, and seldom are they really flat. But like I said, I've gone that black on the legs, and it looks quite nice against the barrel. So what I'm doing is I use timber framing screws. They got a great big washer head on them, and I've drilled right through the metal banding. So the screw will go through the metal banding and into the leg. I'm just going to get that adjusted out of the way so that I can get at my screws. And I've marked them on top of the barrel, so once I get them fastened all the way around, then I can situate them and get them leveled up to the bottom of the barrel. So and these screws are great, these timber framing screws. Just double checking the height there. So what I did is just laid a piece of flat board. That's a piece of 1x8, and then you can just put a framing square on top of that once it's flat across the barrel, and you can check that it's the legs are squared to the bottom of the barrel. And I did that on all 4 corners, and this is the only way that I could figure out doing it, so that because I want to keep square to the barrel. So once we got those all in place, and I'll check them all the way around, and then I'll tape, put a reference tape along either side of the legs, and then I can move them off side. And what I've done is put another 2 timber framing screws on the inside of the barrel, so I'm able to move these legs aside and drill 2 reference holes. Once the 2 reference holes are drilled, then I can just move them back, and I put a little bit of glue on, tape on them just to hold them in place. So there's the legs all set up, and I decided I want them a little bit shinier, so I put a coat of gloss varnish on the legs. And I've got a handle there. A buddy of mine dropped me off a bag full of leather. Thanks, Norm. And I use that for poles and handles. And so I just cut a piece of leather, thick leather, and rolled it over, and use a nice brass screw to fasten it to the door. And works good. I'm not sure if I'll put a latch on it or not. It doesn't need it. It closes quite well. So on the top of the barrel there, you can see I haven't spent too much time staining it. I'm going to pick up a beer bucket, a tin bucket, and put that on top of the barrel. I'll cut a hole out for it so it'll set into the top of the barrel. So there's the door open, and you can see the inside of it. And what I've also done too is I've decided to, all the barrels that I do, I put a red rim around the top. It's a bit of my signature, I guess. And but I'll be cutting a hole in the top of this, and there's a picture coming up. I'll show you the bucket, and so there'll be an ice bucket that you can put whatever your favorite wobbly pop is, and then I surrounded it with some rocks off the beach here and a couple of candles. But there it is there. It's all complete except for the wraparound, and we've got that all built and stained, and I'll be able to pop that on and show you the completed project. So there's a couple of bottles in there. A couple of bottles of Chianti, and there's our tabletop. I said it just slides on, and then we're able to slide our ring on over top of that again, and that's where I was measuring to go for. I wanted that ring above this table. So that tabletop is at 42 inches bar height, and it works perfect off stools, and you can see the ice bucket in the center up top, and there it is again. Have some sunlight on it. It's early in the morning, the sun's coming through the doors, and I'll lit the fire. So I put a couple of camping cups along either side. I like the look of them, and put them on a bit of concrete board, and put some gel fuel and lit them up, and they look quite nice. So I'll take it outside and put a couple of stools beside it. I also built the stools too. They're a full tenon built stool, and I put epoxy caps over top of the tenons because I brought them right through the stools, so you have to look at those. But you can also cedar. There's no top nails or screws or anything. Everything screwed from the bottom of the apron. So it'll keep all the water out of the holes and everything, stop it from cracking. This was a really good run of cedar. And, so it's all ready for summer, or early spring. Let's go in early spring. So we'll just get that outside. There you go. It's outside in the sunlight. There's the stools that I built to accompany another table. You can see the tops of them. The tenons came right through, and then I routed them out 1/4 of an inch and did an epoxy pour on top of them. So we've got the gel fuel going again. What I use for gel fuel, I was reading online, I forget who said it, but hand cleaner. You can just pick up hand cleaner at a alcohol toothpaste hand cleaner at a dollar store. They're cheap, and pour that into a container and light it. And you want to get above 70% alcohol, but it works great. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching the videos, and send me comments or information and I'll get back to you. Thanks again.